Morning, everybody. Whew. Oh, chilly this morning. Nose is running like a bugger. Allergies and cold. Oh, oh, oh. Anyhow, excuse me. Welcome. Whew. Take a look at the light kissing the top of the mountains. Take a look at the light just kissing the top of the mountains, the sun. Little dustings of snow up there. Oh yeah. Last night was cold. It was well below freezing. Sunrise. Wow. Yeah, the temperature last night, woo, wasn't actually too bad, but it was well below freezing. It started off with rain. I don't know, about 7:30, 8 o'clock, started raining. And then the rain stopped and the sky cleared. And the temperature just plummeted. So all the rain was frozen this morning. Just frozen frost and ice on the tent, on the fly sheet. So yet another day of a wet tent in the park. But anyhow, such is life. Sky today, blue. Look at that sunrise coming up. Look at that sunrise. You guys seeing that sunrise? I hope so. Time lapse would be good. That would be pretty. Look at that. Silhouetting the trees. Beautiful. Pushing north. I'm not 100% sure if we've actually left. I think we've technically left the Greyston Highlands Park. Because I did see the sign and the gate and so on. But I'm still seeing droppings from all the wild ponies and stuff, so. Okay. Nose is running like a bugger, so I'm gonna stop recording just right now and get myself cleaned up a little bit to make myself more presentable. So we just reached the Orchard shelter, and that gave us for the morning so far 6 miles. So far today we are 6 miles into the trail, 6 miles more than we'd done earlier this morning, 6 miles closer to Qatar. That's got to be good. The terrain today, well, we've had a mixed bag of cookies. We've had a little bit of up, but not much. Very gentle. Just a couple of small kind of hills, if you will. Nothing major. We've had flat, quite a bit of flat, a little bit of downhill. The terrain has been rocky and rooty and wet, but not too bad. Not as rocky as yesterday. In fact, let me turn you guys around, and you can see the terrain right now. You can see it's rocky, so it does slow you down a little bit. You keep kind of maneuvering around the rocks. So it does slow you down compared to, say, just a flat surface, but it's still decent miles. So I feel fine. I did use the privy at the shelter, had a cheesy cracker snack, and we are on our way. So I'm hoping today's going to be a decent day for us. Get some decent miles. So it's called Old Orchard Horse Trail. So the name of that shelter was Old Orchard, not just Orchard. Okay, so yeah, I'm hoping for a decent day today. I'm not sure as of yet what the kind of final goal is. I'll probably look a little closer at that lunchtime. Depends how I'm feeling and so on, but it's going to be a couple hours away yet anyhow. So would be nice if today we could put in an 18. Would an 18-mile day be in the cards? Well, quite often it depends on what facilities are available. Is there going to be a tenting area or a shelter? I don't think there's a shelter at 18 or thereabouts, but there could be tenting areas. What about water? That's also a concern. So we'll know later when we actually do some kind of final planning for the day. So right now, we're just heading north. Right now, we're just logging miles. Oh. Yeah, those roots get you sometimes too. Okay. Again, welcome to day 44 on the Appalachian Trail. I believe it's April the 8th. And all is going well. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Beautiful, vibrant colors through here. The vibrant green, the saturated kind of browns and goldens of the wet leaves to the side of the trail. Just a beautiful little section of trail. I think these are rhododendrons. Are they rhododendrons? Well, there's a lot of them. Ever since day one, there's been, we'll call them rhododendrons. They might not be rhododendrons, but we'll call them rhododendrons. There's been rhododendrons ever since day one. And there hasn't been a day without them yet. So that's 44 days of rhododendrons. Look at it with the sunlight coming through. Those colors, beautiful. Again, as a photographer. Oh, and by the way, do check out my photography channel, Gary Clayton Photography, on YouTube. Please check that out. Have a look, like, share, comment on videos, and do subscribe. I need all the subscribers I can get on my photography channel. But yeah, as a photographer, color and light. Well, primarily light. Light is the creation of pretty much everything when it comes to photography. So, light creates the colors, shows the colors, reflects from the colors, and yeah, light's pretty much everything to a photographer. But when you get the sunshine kind of dappling through the bushes and trees and stuff, it can be really spectacular sometimes. It's like it was behind us just a little while ago. Okay, let us just keep moving forward. So after a good lunch, and today I had ramen noodles. Oh, excuse me, nose running in. Ramen noodles with some instant potato, a coffee, and a whole wheat and blueberry fig bar. Yeah. I just chatted with one of the other hikers. His trail name is Professor, and he was telling me that he was at the same camp area I was last night, and he was telling me that for a 20-mile day today, there is a shelter, Trimpy or something like that it's called. And I just checked that out on the map, and that's about 9.1 miles ahead of me. And right now, it's right at noon. We're starting, I don't know if you can see this in the GoPro, but Maybe you can see it if I hold you towards my jacket. We're getting these little snowflakes falling. So it tells you that it's cold. It's got really gray now. I haven't seen the sun for quite a while, and I can't get a signal to check the weather. So I just don't know what's supposed to be coming, if this is nothing or if it's something. I mean, is it just going to stay like this, or are we going to have a foot of snow an hour from now? I don't know. But I do know this. I do know this morning we spoke about an 18-mile day, and I know that if I pushed that next shelter, that would give me a 20-mile day. The terrain today has been reasonable, so a 20-mile day is possible. So we'll see. We'll see how we make out. Right now, it's a little rocky, but we're descending. We did just finish a big climb before I had my lunch. I decided to wait till I got to the top of that climb to have lunch, but anyhow. Okay, so just like a little bit of a midday update, and I am going to get into hiking here and see if we can log that next 9.1 miles. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Just ahead of me on the trail is the Commerce Creek Falls. Now, about a mile back, there was a sign saying that the bridge had been removed because it was a dangerous bridge, and a detour, which was a 1.5 mile detour, had been established. So I looked at good hooks, and guys were saying, no, we managed to cross quite easily, no problems. So I took a chance and continued along the white blaze of the Appalachian Trail, which would have been, or which is, 1/2 mile shorter overall than, say, the detour. Well, if you can hear, we're approaching the falls now. I don't know, it sounds raging for sure, and I really don't know if I did a smart thing or a stupid thing. In all truthfulness, looks like I'll be able to cross. I'm not seeing anything that's going to be an issue. I see where they removed the bridge for sure, but I'm pretty sure I can cross there quite safely. And there's the falls. So you guys probably want to watch this, don't you? I thought so. Hang on. Okay, it's going to be a little tricky, there's no doubt about that, but it's also definitely doable. Have to be super careful here. Do you go for the high rock or do you go for the low rock? I'm going to go for the low rock right there. 1 step, 2 steps, whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm going to go to the top of this one. Three steps. Oh boy. Those logs are going to be super slippy. No doubt about that. Just need to get to that one more rock and we are home free. We made the crossing. Alrighty. Okay. Let's carry on. Up what's left of the bridge, which is the steps, of course. Oh, the steps are more of a challenge than the crossing of the creek was. Okay. Okay, back on the trail, no problems. Easy crossing, we're good. I love these United States Forest Service signs. Raccoon Branch Wilderness, Jefferson National Forest. Forest Services, Department of Agriculture. Cool. Take a look at that. I just love those signs. Speaking of signs, there was a sign just behind me there, a few feet, that said the Tramply, whatever it's called, shelter. It's 4 miles. Raining, whoop, not hard, but raining. Got my rain hat on, got my Frog Togs Pro Light, and my umbrella in my hip belt, all ready to go if the rain kind of gets any heavier. Pack covers on. 4 miles to go to camp, assuming that's where I camp. We just crossed a highway. Can't actually tell you what highway that was right now, but we did just cross it. Okay, let's keep moving on. Not sure of the time, but it's got to be approaching 3 o'clock now. Okay. Well, it's been snowing and raining, snowing and raining, snowing and raining pretty much most of the afternoon. But a little while ago, I noticed a bit of brightness in the sky, and it stopped doing the raining and it stopped doing the snowing thing. Wasn't enough snow to accumulate on the ground, but the air is still cold, no doubt about that. But if you look up into the sky, it's breaking up, or it appears to be. And I'm hoping when I get to camp, I'm going to be able to dry out my fly sheet from my tent and my tie bag, my bathtub, and that would be great. Oh look, you see, brightening again. There comes the sun right now. There comes the sun right now, but only for a moment. But we just started to see it, so that'd be great if it's going to start to clear a little bit. I get my shelter up, get it all dried out nicely. It's about 1.5 miles to the Tramply shelter and tenting area and so on. So we're going to just continue to that, and that will be it for the day, and it will give us a 20-mile day. I don't know if it's like 20.1 miles or something like that, but I'll know when I do the log. And I'm thinking about 4:15 ish to be there. So that's okay. That's still good enough time for a good dry out if we have a gentle breeze and a bit of sunshine. It's perfect. And of course, then will come the water collection, the camp chores, and then dinner, and that will be Friday night, because it's Friday today. Leaves me 20 miles, 20 miles to my next hostel accommodation, the alpaca farm, for Sunday evening. So what I'll do is, what I really like to do when I'm taking a Nero, I like to take a longer Nero, so I like to get close to where I'm heading to, or to my hostel or accommodations the night before, and then camp, wild camp, shelter, whatever, and then go down or in or up there to the shelter the next morning for around 10 a.m.-ish. That gives me lots of time to shower, rest, do any equipment drying, laundry, resupplying, shuttle resupplying, and so on, and still lots of time just to relax, especially if it's a nice sunny day. I actually did that at the Boots Off hostel, and it was just great. I sat for about 2 hours in the sunshine on the deck, and it was just delightful. Drinking coffee, eating snacks, and just dozing off. It was perfect. Well, we'll see. The snow, well, we have had wet snow pretty much all day, on and off, but it hasn't been sticking to the ground. It's just been making things wet. And then rain in between. No great winds, although it has picked up a few times, a little bit here and there, but definitely not a windy day. But the wind, the temperature, the air temperatures have been quite cool. Very cool. So yeah, that's it. Little bit of an afternoon update again on day 44. Whew. Take a look at the trail. It's really quite rocky. And I was just thinking to myself how the side of my right foot and the side of my left foot is getting beaten by these rocks and bruised. And it does. Now that's where your hiking boots have a benefit as far as the protection goes from the rocks, whereas the Lone Peaks have significantly less protection, of course. But it's extremely difficult to hike in hiking boots day after day, week after week, month after month, mile after mile, when you're logging hundreds, if not thousands of miles, like we're doing on this particular trail. It's just extremely difficult to do that in a rugged hiking boot. It's just too heavy. It just wears away at your feet, could cause all kinds of problems, blisters, and so on. So the trail runners are 100% better by far, but they do have their drawbacks, especially on rocky terrain like we're experiencing now, yesterday a lot of, and pretty much most of the day today. Okay, let's get to camp. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 45. Whew, last night, snow. Well, rain, snow, freezing rain, sleet, pretty much everything. I got a bunk in the shelter last night because my tent was still wet from the heavy rains the night before, and it was raining. We did talk about, oh look, there's some brightness coming in the sky yesterday and maybe I can dry my tent out and so on. Well, none of that happened. It just darkened over, the rain came, the snow came. I got to the shelter and all the lower level was full, but on each side of the shelter was one bunk, just on each side, elevated up high, second floor, one narrow bunk. So I got that, which was good, nice and flat and comfortable. So at least I wasn't in the snow all night in my tent. Not that that matters, and nor do I mind that. My tent's very well capable. I was just really hoping the weather would be such that I'd be able to put the tent up and dry it out. But anyhow, that didn't happen, and I hate carrying a wet tent. I think it's bad for the gear, bad for the tent. And again, right now, snowing slightly, gray skies, cold. In Fahrenheit, it's somewhere in the 20s. I'd say 22, 24, maybe 26. It's hard to say. Windy in spots, but right here we're sheltered in trees. I did wait till I got here. I've been hiking about 45 minutes this morning. A little later start than normal. But because I was on that upper bunk, I really did have to wait till others were steering below me because I couldn't get down without disturbing people. But that's fine too. It was good. I had a good night's sleep. I just didn't have my coffee and oatmeal this morning for breakfast. Had to go with like a couple of breakfast bars, which are okay, but you know, really not what I like. But that's okay too. Just take a little look at the trail. Take a little look at the snow on the leaves of the rhododendrons and so on. And maybe you can see still a little bit of snow coming down in the air, but not a lot. We've descended quite a bit, probably 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet up where I was last night, everything was just white. All the trees, the branches, the leaves, everything. Here, not as much. Less snow here. Up higher, there was a couple of inches anyhow. Down here, inch maybe, if that. So yeah, it's April the 9th, I believe. I will be so glad when, you know, the actual warmer weather kind of comes or moves in. We've had some days, a couple of days ago, don't forget, it was like almost 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It was gorgeous. Just perfect for me. And then here we are, back into the 20s again. Not so perfect for me. I am definitely a warm weather person. I may even go as far as saying a hot weather person. But I know I'm not a cold weather person. I know I live in Canada, but anyhow. So today's plan is just lay down miles. I don't have too far to go. I have a total from camp this morning. I've already done 1.5 or maybe 2 almost. But from camp this morning, it was 20 miles to the Alpaca Farm Hostel where we stay at tomorrow. So again, my normal plan on a Nero is to get there relatively early on a morning, so I have full use of the facilities for most of the day. It's almost like a zero, but it's just not quite. So if I do 15 miles or whatever today, I think there's a shelter at 17. If I went to that shelter area, then that would leave me just 3.5, maybe 4 miles in the morning. So I could start late, have a breakfast at the shelter, you know, and then head in somewhere between 9 and 10 a.m. Around 10 a.m.-ish is the time I like to get to the hostels. Not too early, but as early as I dare, let's say. Anyhow, so that's basically the plan for today, for day 45. There'll be another block of 5 at the end of this day, and that will be 9 blocks altogether. Yeah, it's moving along. Mileage-wise, I think the Alpaca Farm is at 536 or something like that. 546. I'm not sure if it's 46 or 36. I think it could be 546. And that's where we'll be, as I say, basically tomorrow morning. Okay. Again, good morning. Welcome to my world. I'm glad you joined me. Like, share, comment. Do subscribe to my channel, please. I need all the subscribers I can get. It really helps the channel grow, and I believe we have so much to offer. Okay, let's move on down this road. Look at this, the most amazing trail magic that you can imagine on a morning that's wet and cold and snowy and miserable. This gentleman right here,
I will.
this gentleman is providing this magic this morning. What's going on here today? Who are you?
I'm doing good. I'm Jerry with the AT Hiker Ministry. We've been doing trail magic for 12 years now. We're a missionary Baptist church, and we support about 50 missionaries all over the world in the United States, but we got the whole world right here on the AT. So
amazing.
We're here
well,
to serve you.
We are so glad that you're here today, because on this morning, cold, miserable and wet, we are delighted to see you.
Oh, you're welcome.
There's quite a few hikers, look, already here enjoying hot coffee, hot chocolate, snacks. Absolutely amazing. Yes. Take a look. The sun is shining. You can see the brightness on the snow. But just 10 minutes ago, it was total whiteout conditions. However, I'm seeing more and more blue sky pop up right above me. Hallelujah. Look at the frost on the top of those trees. This could be good. That might mean that I have can stay in my tent tonight. If again, I have no idea what the weather report is, but if we get drying conditions, that would be just wonderful. I'd be so happy with that. Anyhow, just a little while ago I took a break, ate a bar, and well, actually 2 bars, well, a cheesy cracker and a strawberry wheat bar, and checked the mileage, and it's about it was 2.5 miles to the shelter where I want to make camp. Now it'll be about 2.3 miles. So if there is room in the shelter and we still have inclement weather, the shelter it will be. If there's no room in the shelter, or I keep seeing indication of the weather improving, then we shall tent. But we'll know that in another 2.3 miles or so. We'll figure all that out. It shows on the app, Gut Hucks, far out, that there's water. I believe a privy. The shelter holds 6. I know in front of me, or ahead of me, there is 4 people that I know of. Is there anybody else going to be at the shelter? I don't know. Just depends on the people wherever they were last night. So it's really hard to say. You just don't know until you get there. And the shelters are small. At six-person shelters, small. But anyhow, hopefully we're in a clearing trend. I hope so, because I much more prefer, as you know, my tent, and I'd love to get it up and dry it out. And it's warmer in my tent. Be comfortable in my tent. And it's private. There's just me in my tent. I like that. Okay, a little peek at the trail as we go. You can see no snow is falling, but believe me, just 10 or 12 minutes ago it was coming down in a whiteout. Oh well. Short-lived, and when the sun does come out it warms up the ground quite quickly. As you can see, no snow on the trail. This location is a museum of farm history and life in the days of the pioneers. The actual museum is in that white building, the big white stately home from back in the day. Some of the farm implements, the corn crib, some of the tools that was used back in the day, the farm shop, where the tools would have been repaired back in the day. What's this little building here? Some of the plowing, I guess, tools, farming tools. Oh, the well and the water pump. Take a look in here. Now, how interesting is this? Yeah, look at that. Interesting stuff. Crocs. Wow. Interesting memorabilia. Most certainly. Oh, so this is a hay rake from the late 1800s. So it's a dump hay rake from the 1800s. Well, it was only a moment or so off trail. Obviously we can't go in. It's early and it's closed. It's Sunday. I'm sure these fine folks are all getting ready for go to church. But we could take a little walk around the property like we did, and that is fine too. Okay, the trail is back up here. This is just a little side trail for, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of a mile or something, 1/4 of a mile side trail. Good morning, everybody. Jasper here. Well, welcome to day, is it 46 today? Golly, I think it's, nose is running again. It's cold. By the way, last night, coldest night so far on the Appalachian Trail, and we are April the 10th, I believe it is. And I think today is day 46. I don't know if today, because it's a short day, it's a resupply day, it's a Nero day, it's a hostel day. But I don't know if we hit the 1/4 way mark today or tomorrow, but I know it's very, very close to where I am. Okay. Yeah. Museum. And the trail, this is where we came. This is where we're going. Still see all the snow on the ground. Oh boy, yesterday was a real winter of a day, especially on those mountains. High winds, sleet, snow, ice pellets. Beat the hell out of me, but we did do a total of 17.1 miles yesterday. Today we have about, I think it's about 5 miles or so, 5 or 6 miles, and we will be at the alpaca farm hostel, where we have a reservation for tonight for one person in the bunkhouse. Whew. That's $35 for that. And then, as I'd mentioned before, they have a shuttle into town. The actual shuttle is $15 total, divided up into however many hikers wish to go to town. And I really need to get to the Walmart, and I believe they have one there. Okay, let's keep moving on. Right now, we're inside the old schoolhouse. The blackboard from back in the day when the teacher, of course, would write her lessons. The teacher's pulpit or desk. The desk for all the children. The fireplace. And right here, they set up trail magic. Trail magic for the thru hikers. They've got medical supplies, they've got some clothing. On that clothing, I picked this pair of ladies' gloves. If you can see those. I picked those because I'm in desperate need of gloves. They have rice, potatoes, fruit. Of course, I got some fruit. I got some Q-tips and soap from the medical area. Over here, in this box here, they have granola bars. And of course, I picked a package of granola bars. I never take everything. You always leave something for the next guy. Wow, what an amazing and interesting place. Let's go back outside. Oh, you know what? Hang on a minute. Because somewhere, yeah, there's a screwdriver here which I have to use. Sorry about messing you guys around here, but there's a screwdriver that was locking the door, or keeping the door closed, I guess, from maybe wildlife. Very bright outside. Oh, I see, the door actually just doesn't close itself. So you have to put the screwdriver in there. The Settlers Museum of Southwest Virginia. Wow, enjoy your stay at our 1894 Lindamood Schoolhouse. Well, what an amazing location. They have a outhouse. They allow camping right here on the property. For the thru hikers, you can set up your tent here and spend the night. And it's a great place to do so, no doubt about that. Oh, I think there was a sign. I'm going to see if we see the sign. I'm just not sure where it was. Well, I'm not sure where the sign was actually, but there was a sign. Maybe... No, not that sign. Let's see what this one says. It was quite interesting and I'd really like to show it to you. Well, no, not that one either. But that's okay. There's the schoolhouse. Truly amazing, truly wonderful magic, and very much appreciated. Okay, looks to me as though the trail will continue this way and back into the forest, and that of course is just fine. So that was quite nice, and I got some Q-tips, a couple of little wipes, the ladies' gloves, but they're a little tight, but they'll work. A package of granola bars, an apple, and I am very grateful for those things. Okay, let's move along. Well, after a shower laundry, some food to eat, and getting ready to go for resupply at the alpaca farm hostel. This place is quite amazing. Beautiful, beautiful countryside here. An excellent, very charming man and wife. Cindy is the wife. I'm not sure the gentleman's name, but they're great hosts. It's $35 a night. We're just waiting for Cindy to take us into town. They took a couple of guys in for their resupply, and we're just waiting now for Cindy to take myself and another hiker into town for resupply. So yeah, everything is going just fine. Today I think it's day 45. I think that's Interstate 81. I can see Interstate 81 way in the distance behind the gas stations and stuff. Okay, you know what? I am going to sign off. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. It's very windy. I'm going to tell you a lot more things tomorrow because I had an issue with my Ultra shoes, but I spoke to Ultra in the store where I bought them from, and they're shipping me a new pair. I'll tell you all that story tomorrow. Right now, I'm getting ready for resupply. Talk to you later. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to April the 11th, 2022. Day number 46, I believe, on the Appalachian Trail. I think it's 46 today. I may have to correct that later because something says it could be 47, but it maybe is 47. Well, let's go with 46 for now. We'll change it if we have to. We are leaving. I am leaving. Jasper is leaving, heading north from the community, the outskirts of the community of I think Anton or Atkinson. I think it's Atkinson or Atkins, from the community of Atkins. That's the one, Virginia. Heading north. It's a Monday, and I am pushing now the 90 miles, I believe, 88, 90 miles north to Parisburg, Virginia. That is going to be my next port of call, my next resupply, my next bath, shower, laundry, and I'm allowing, I guess, 6 days on average at about a 15-mile day. So next Saturday morning, I will be arriving in the community of Parisburg, all things being equal. Again, nose is running, I apologize. It's a chilly morning, frosty this morning. And in Parisburg, I will take a 0. It'll be so far the only elective kind of 0 I have taken on this hike so far. But I did have to sit out the weather, don't forget, for 3 days at the Fontana Dam. So those were forced kind of 0s. And when I get to Parisburg, that will put me somewhere around 635 miles into the Appalachian Trail. So there we go, a little good morning update. I have accommodations booked at the Plaza Motel for Saturday night and Sunday night. Single room, hiker rate, $50 tax included. Awesome, love that. Great rate. Okay, I'm starting a climb. I'm going to talk to you in a bit. Just take a look at this sign. It says 1/4 Georgia to Maine. Yep, 1/4 Georgia to Maine. We have accomplished, we have achieved 25% of the Appalachian Trail. Oh, I know what you're thinking, but Jasper, 25%, well, that's not very much. Well, to be honest with you, when you're out here, that is an amazing feat. Believe me, the Appalachian Trail has been a trail that from day one, well, let me give you an example. When I did the Colorado Trail, right from the moment I set foot on trail, I was in total awe, absolute awe. On this trail, from the moment I set foot on trail, it has been a ass-kicking adventure. It has done everything to crumble me. As this trail, it throws everything at you, and it has no mercy. It throws everything all at once. Yes, it does. But we have persevered so far to 1/4 of the way of the Appalachian Trail. Pretty amazing. Ahead of me, the trail, you can see a couple of thru hikers. That is Papa Bear and Professor. They were just taking their pictures and doing their celebration of the 1/4 of the way through. I'm still not sure if this is day 46 or 47. I really got to get a grip on that because I don't know what to call it. Anyhow, you know what? We have got 3/4 of the Appalachian Trail yet to do. And that trail won't hike itself. That's in the words of the great thru hiker Marmalade. So you know what? Let's get to hiking. Hey guys, well, a few things we have to talk about. One is, up to now, even though this hasn't come to a conclusion, but up to now, the outstanding service from Ultra Footwear. I bought, as you know, a pair of Ultra Lone Peak 5.0s in Damascus. And I noticed the very next day, stitching coming loose. It got worse. I took a picture, I said, and I contacted the store that I bought it from. They said, go to Ultra's website and on contact, go to warranty claims. Well, I tried to do that. And they also said, if you're unsuccessful with it, call us back. So I tried to do that, but I just could not, for some reason, get through to Ultra. It just wasn't working right. So I called the store back. They said, okay, let us call the company rep and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. I said, okay. Can't be 5 minutes later, my phone rang and it was Sundog Outfitters in Damascus. And they said, okay, we spoke to the area rep. They said their website is down for about 4 days due to maintenance or whatever. They said also, with the larger sizes in that shoe, they'd had the odd one that some of the stitching was coming loose in. Says the area rep does not need the shoes back. They do not need pictures. They said, they instructed Sundog Outfitters to take care of their customer. That was me, Jasper. They got a forwarding address from me, which is going to be the motel that I'm staying in at the weekend, today being Monday. And they told me Monday morning, expedited mail to ensure that it gets there in time. They're going to ship me a brand new pair of Lone Peak 5.0s. They don't want any proof of the damage and they don't want the old shoes back. They said, keep them, do whatever you want with them, put them in a hiker box, send them home, whatever, it's fine. How's that for service? So, hey, on Saturday night and Sunday night, because I am taking a 0 at the end of this week, just because I am getting tired. Today being Monday, so I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday morning, I will walk into Parisburg, and there I am taking a 0 on the Sunday. So I'll have Saturday and Sunday night there, leaving Monday morning bright and early and heading north again. Staying at the Plaza Motel. $50 a night, tax included, hiker rate single. Perfect. And it's right in the middle of everything. The diners, the shops, perfect. And a good rate. If I'm taking a 0, I like a motel room rather than a hostel if I can afford it, or if I can get a good deal, and for 50 bucks it's a good deal. Simply because you can relax, you can watch TV, watch movies, you don't have to worry about disturbing others. You do whatever you want. So I like to do that on a 0, although I'm happy with hostels, you know, for Neros and so on. So that is that piece of news. The second piece of news, which I already told you too, is I am taking a 0 on the weekend coming up. So 5 days from now, I will be taking that Sunday as a 0 in Parisburg. And that will be somewhere around the 640-mile area of the hike. So yeah, today, I guess it's around 11:30-ish. I got about 8 miles to go to where I thought I might camp tonight, which is called the Ling Creek. It's a tenting area or camping area. So there's established kind of area there. And it's obviously a creek, so there's water. Sounds good. And that will give me, I think it's a 16.1 mile day today, which is great. I'm happy with that. So that's a good solid day for me. And as I say, I've got 8 miles or thereabouts to go to reach that tenting area, and it's 11:30 a.m. So all things being equal, I should reach there at a reasonably early hour, and I'll be glad to do that. I am carrying again a full pack, and so far today we've had 2 big climbs, and then I've just finished a smaller climb and descending right now. So I've climbed about 3,000 feet or so this morning already, in that first 8 miles that I've done. And with a full pack, and I've always got too much, but this was a 6-day carry, so I had to really kind of you know, load things up a little bit, so I am properly fed and comfortable for the next 5 or 6 days anyhow. Okay, that is kind of my midday update. Let's take a look at the trail. As I say, I'm descending right now, but the trail, beautiful forest, brown leaves, gorgeous weather today. I think the high is somewhere around 70. I've been in shorts and a t-shirt, since about 9:30, 10 o'clock. 9:30 is this morning. Much better weather. It's funny how yesterday and the day before it was ice and snow and sleet, and it was just awful. And today it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit, sunshine, gorgeous weather. We have rain coming, of course, this week. Several times, several days, but you know what, it's hit and miss. It's 40%, 50%, 60%. There's one day it's a 40% of some scattered thunderstorms, this and that. The temperatures, I think most nights it's just going down to the mid-40s. There is one night it goes into the upper 30s for the low, and the temperatures during the day are nice, probably around the upper 60s to 70s, low 70s. So all of a sudden a really nice change in the weather, and the warmth, the sunshine, the rain, well, everything's going to blossom. And today being the 11th of April, it's about time it did. Okay, let's keep going. Interesting roadway, little bridge over this water, moving quite quickly. I'm sure there's fish in there, but look on this side. On this side there is a depth gauge of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet deep, or deeper or higher or whatever. Homestead, farm property, old barn. I bet that could have been a watermill back in the day. And the Appalachian Trail as it continues. Notice, for the next 10 miles, the Appalachian Trail travels through a narrow corridor that includes scenic tread, right-of-way, easements through private property, use outside the trail, tread in the easement areas requires written permission, okay, of the landowner. Okay, well, we're going to stay within the easement, although I'm not sure how that's going to affect my published, I guess, public camp area, which is a little over 4 miles away from where I am now. But look at that old, is it a barn? Is it a watermill? Could have been a watermill back in the day. Could have been for some kind of power generation or grinding flour or grain. Who knows? Or just a barn. I don't know. Okay. Hi guys, well, just working with the app and my log to see how far I did today. Today I did 15.9 miles. Whew. So 15.9. Today was 47. That is going to give us 500 540, 547, 548.6. 548.6 miles. No, that's wrong. 558. Sorry. 558.6 miles so far. Today was 15.9. Whew, that's it. That is what we did today. And that's how far we've done. 558.6 miles. Today was a challenge for me. I found the climbs challenging. A full resupply, don't forget, so the pack is super heavy. And as the days go by, of course, that goes down. Tomorrow we're starting off from this campsite. I'm at the Lind Creek camp area, tenting area. Beautiful spot, quiet, peaceful. There's a couple of tents, which is actually Professor and Papa Bear, maybe a couple of 100 yards that way. Right next to a beautiful creek, the Lind Creek. I got my water filtered. I'd have my dinner. I'm going to finish off my log. And that's it. I'm going to be in bed before I know it. I'll brush my teeth and so on. And I'll see you guys in the morning. And day 48 will begin bright and early. Because tomorrow, we got a long way to go. I think tomorrow's like a 18 to 20 mile day, something like that, that I'm kind of looking at, but I'm not sure. I was just talking to a couple other guys. They were telling me what they're kind of thinking of, and the facilities and so on that are out there. And there is a shelter. I think the shelter is called Harvey Mill Shelter. Oh no, maybe that's not the one. I've really got to check it out more and see. So I've got to have a look. I don't think that Harvey Mill is the one for tomorrow. And tomorrow we also have a river to fjord, because there is no bridge on this river, and it's up to your knees, and it's quite wide, and that's going to be very early in the morning too. I'm going to set the alarm for 4:30. I'm going to get up, have my coffee, probably oatmeal, and we're going to hit the trail. We're going to pack up and we're going to hit the trail. I think there's some rain coming tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So be it. Apart from that, this will end day 47 of Jasper's northbound through hike attempt of the Appalachian Trail. Please like, share, comment. Do subscribe to my channel. I need all the subscribers I can get. It helps the channel grow. The more it grows, the more we can bring. Okay, talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.